Okay, great. We are now ready to begin the process of loading our Open Accounts Payable. And I want to quickly go over why we need to do this step and some of the prerequisites that are necessary before we get started. So we're going live as of November 30th. And at this point, we've loaded our summary trial balances in NetSuite. So you can see here on my screen, right, we've got our AP aging detail with the various vendors within QuickBooks that make up a balance of $6,624.17. And it's made up of all these various vendors. Now, when I go over and look in NetSuite, I can see here that I've got my import AP vendor. I've got 4 journal entries. The balance matches, but I have no detail around all the individual vendors that make up that balance. And so that's exactly what this process is going to do. We're going to reverse this import AP vendor balance, and we're going to replace that with the individual vendor balances so that on your go live date, you're able to start transacting, paying vendor bills, applying vendor credits. And that's exactly why you need to do an Open Accounts Payable load. Okay, so that's kind of the why. And I have a little bit more detail in my blog article that you can read about if you want to kind of get a little bit more information about that. And so now there's a couple settings and accounts that we want to create. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a suspense expense account for all of our vendor bills and vendor credits. And so the reason that we do this is because at this point, those trial balances that we loaded have posted the expense activity from the vendor bills. And so we can't use the original coding. And so instead, what we're going to do is we're going to create a suspense account called Open AP, and we're going to code the expense for all of our open transactions related to accounts payable to this one account. And then we'll reverse that and then also reverse this import AP vendor. And if we do this correctly, the suspense account will be 0 and this import AP vendor balance will also be 0. So to get started, we're going to go over to the chart of accounts, and I'm just going to go ahead and create this suspense account. And I usually give it a number of Z6999. I just call it Open AP. You're going to want to create this as an expense account type. And then I would just recommend assigning it to all of your subsidiaries. And we'll just click Save. And that's it. The other preference that we're going to want to make sure that we configure in our NetSuite instance is allowing a date period mismatch. And the reason that you want to enable this is because all of the vendor bills in QuickBooks, right, are going to have a variety of dates assigned to them. And so we want the GL impact of this process to be isolated to a single posting period that is in NetSuite so that we don't have this suspense account with balances throughout all these months and we have to post a bunch of different journals to reverse that. If we set the posting period to November 2023, then the GL impact of all these transactions will be isolated to just November 2023. So you won't see the GL impact on your financial statements. And this is really important because if you don't do this, you're going to see this Open AP account throughout and it'll get reversed on the date of the journal entry. So what you'll want to do is you'll go to Setup Accounting Preferences, and you'll come to this page here, and you'll want to scroll down under General and make sure that you have this Allow Transaction Date outside a posting period, either set to Warn or Allow. And if you have this, if you want this turned on, or if you want this feature turned off post go live, I would recommend that you turn it on for the loading Open AP and Open AR, and then turn it off as soon as you're done. This is a really important step. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of messy. And if you have questions, I also have a blog article that discusses the date period mismatch in the class notes. And you can also talk to your implementation partner who should be able to explain to you the pros and cons of this setting. Okay, with that, we are ready to get into the details of loading our Open Accounts Payable. We'll see you in the next video.